They'd tied her to the fence at noon when the sun was a hammer and the rope was wire. Nora Callahan had stopped screaming around 3 o'clock. By 4, she'd stopped praying. By 5, when the shadows finally started to stretch, she'd stopped thinking about anything except the next breath. The rope had cut through to bone on her left wrist. Her right shoulder was dislocated. Happened when Pike yanked her up to the post that morning. The scars on her back, old ones, white as alkali, had opened up again where the sun cooked them. A mile away, Desert Springs went about its business, smoke rising from supper fires. The church bell marking 6 o'clock, nobody coming. The windmill screamed in the wind. Henry Dalton saw her from a quarter-mile out. Thought it was a scarecrow at first, the way she hung there, not moving. Then his paint horse, Corey, pulled up short. Horses knew. He rode closer, saw the blood, the rope, the scars. Cut her down without asking permission. She collapsed into his arms like a bundle of sticks. Weighed nothing, like his daughter had, at the end. Rosa crossed herself when he carried the girl into the bunkhouse, but she didn't ask questions. Rosa Delgado had water boiling before Henry got Nora through the door. She'd seen him coming from the cook shack window, the way he rode, careful, like he was carrying something breakable. Put her on the bunk, the one by the window. Henry laid Nora down like she might shatter. The girl's breathing was shallow, fast, fever already setting in. "Get me clean cloth," Rosa said. "And the salve. The good one, not the horse tin." Henry moved. Rosa worked. Washed blood and dust, wrapped rope burns, pressed cool rags to blistered shoulders. The old scars on Nora's back made Rosa's jaw tight, but she didn't say nothing. She'd learned a long time ago. Some questions just made the hurt louder. The door slammed open. Gideon Sharp filled the frame, face red. "What the hell, Dalton?" Henry stood. "Found her on the fence. Your fence." "She's a collateral. Ran 2 days ago. Mr. Pike tied her there as a lesson." "Lesson's over." Sharp stepped in, looked at Nora on the bunk. "That's $2,200 in debt lying there. She runs, I lose money. You understand?" Henry's voice stayed level. "She ain't running nowhere right now." "She will again. They always do." "Then you tie her better next time, but not on my watch." Sharp's eyes narrowed. "Your watch? You work for me, Dalton. That makes it my watch." "Then fire me." Silence. Just Rosa's hands moving, rapping, the windmill creaking outside. Sharp stepped back. "Get her working again by Monday, or this comes out of your wages." He left, boots heavy on the boards. Rosa kept working. "That was stupid, Henry." "Yeah. But right. Maybe." Nora woke to lantern light and the smell of something cooking. Her whole body screamed. Tried to sit up. Couldn't. Someone's hands on her shoulders, gentle. "Shh, mija, you're safe." Nora jerked away, eyes wild. "Don't touch me." Rosa backed off, hands up. Okay, no touching. You want water?" Nora stared. Middle-aged Mexican woman, kind face, holding a tin cup. "Where am I?" "The bunkhouse. Sharp Ranch. A man brought you in." "What man?" Nora's voice cracked. "The foreman, Henry. He found you on the fence." Nora tried to process. The fence, the sun, then nothing. Now here. "Why?" Rosa shrugged. "Maybe ask him. He's right outside." "Outside?" "Been there 3 hours. Won't leave." Nora turned her head. Through the crack in the door she could see him, sitting on the step, hat off, staring at nothing. "What's he want?" Rosa set the cup down. "I don't think he knows yet." Night came. The cowboys gave the bunkhouse a wide berth. Henry had made it clear, Nora's space. Off limits. Henry sat outside. Corey tied nearby, dozing on 3 legs. He could hear Nora moving inside. Small sounds, testing injuries, she'd be sore for weeks. The dislocated shoulder, Rosa had popped it back in while Nora was unconscious. "Mercy, that." He touched his saddlebag. The ribbon inside, folded small. 5 years he'd carried it. 5 years of remembering Corinne's fever, her calling for him. Sarah's letter that came too late. Papa, where are you?" He should have been there. Should have chosen her over the cattle, over the money, over the goddamn pride of finishing the drive. The door cracked open behind him. "You really been out here all night?" Henry didn't turn. "Yes, ma'am." "Why?" He didn't have a good answer. "Just seems right." Silence. He could feel her watching him. "Sharp's gonna make you pay for this." "I expect so." "Then why do it?" Henry finally looked back. She was standing in the doorway, wrapped in a blanket Rosa must have given her. Face still swollen, but her eyes sharp, alive. "Because leaving you on that fence would have killed something in me I can't afford to lose." She stared at him a long time, then stepped back inside. Door closed. But through the window crack, he saw her watching, trying to figure him out. He settled his hat lower. Let her wonder. Hell, he was wondering too. The windmill kept turning. The stars came out cold and bright. He stayed on that step till dawn, And when the sun finally rose, Nora was still awake, still watching. She'd been owned long enough to know everybody wanted something. She just couldn't figure out what he wanted yet. 3 days, and she still flinched when he moved too fast. Rosa brought breakfast to the bunkhouse on a tin tray. Eggs, tortillas, coffee. Set it down on the crate by Nora's bunk. You need to eat, mija. Your body can't heal on air. Nora sat up slow. Everything hurt different now, sharp instead of burning. I ain't hungry. Eat anyway. Rosa waited. Nora picked up a tortilla, took a small bite. Rosa nodded and left. Henry watched from the doorway, hat in hands. She means well. I know. You need anything? To be left alone. Fair enough. He turned to go. Wait. Nora's voice stopped him. That's sharp. He really dock your pay? Some. How much? Henry shrugged. Don't matter. Does if you're paying for me being here. You're working it off. Starting Monday. Light duty, garden, mending, whatever Rosa needs. Nora studied him. And if I run again? Then you run. But you won't make it far on foot in this heat. He put his hat on. Not telling you what to do. Just saying there's worse places to be than here. He left before she could answer. By the 4th day, Nora came to breakfast in the bunkhouse proper. 6 cowboys at the long table, all going quiet when she walked in. Henry nodded to the empty spot. Sit. She did. Rosa brought her plate. The men ate in silence till a young one, couldn't be more than 20, looked up. She got a name, or we just calling her girl? Henry's fork stopped. Watch it. I'm just asking. Callahan, Nora said, voice steady. Nora Callahan. The young cowboy grinned. Well, nice to meet you proper, Miss Callahan. I'm Tommy. Ma'am, the others mumbled, one by one. Henry poured coffee, slid the cup toward her. Their hands almost touched on the table. Both pulled back. Tommy didn't miss it, grinned wider, kept his mouth shut. A week in, Henry found Nora by the corral, watching the horses. You ever ride? She didn't look at him. Used to. Might be good to remember how, case you need to. She understood what he wasn't saying. Case you need to run. Case something happens. Why would you teach me that? Henry leaned on the fence. Because knowing how to leave and choosing to stay are different things. She looked at him then. Really looked. You talk like that all the time? Like what? Like you're saying one thing but meaning 3 others. He almost smiled. Cowboy habit, I guess. She climbed the fence. He brought over a sorrel mare, gentle. Showed Nora how to check the girth, adjust the stirrups. Didn't touch her, just demonstrated. You remember the rest? I think so. He stepped back, let her mount on her own. She winced, shoulders still sore, but got herself up, sat the saddle like she'd done it before. Different than he'd expected, almost refined. Where'd you learn to ride? Her jaw tightened. Someplace else? Long time ago? He didn't push. Walk her around the corral, get your seat back. She did. He watched. The way she held the reins, her posture, this wasn't ranch riding. This was money riding, East Coast riding. He wondered what her father had gambled away besides her. That evening, Sharp called Henry to the main house. The parlor smelled like tobacco and leather. Sharp sat behind his desk, account book open. You're getting soft, Dalton. I'm doing my job. Your job is running cattle and keeping this outfit profitable, not playing nursemaid to a debt servant. Henry stayed stand-in. She's working, earning her keep. That's not the point. Sharp leaned back. The point is you're making me look weak. Pike tied her to that fence to send a message. You cut her down, and now every debtor in 3 counties thinks they can run. Or maybe they think twice before tying folks up like animals. Sharp's eyes went cold. Careful. I can replace you. Then do it. Silence. The clock on the mantel ticked. Sharp waved his hand. Get out. Henry left. Walked past the bunkhouse to the old foreman's house, the one he hadn't entered in 5 years. The one where Corinne died. He stood on the porch, touched the doorframe. Couldn't make himself turn the handle. Behind him, soft footsteps. Nora stood 20 feet back, watching. You gonna go in? No. Why not? Because some doors are better left closed. She studied him in the dying light, saw something in his face she recognized. You lost somebody. Yeah. Here? Yeah. She took a step closer. I'm sorry. He turned. Don't be. Ain't your fault. Still. She wrapped her arms around herself. I'd thought men like you didn't hurt. Men like me? Strong ones. Quiet ones. Henry looked at the horizon. We hurt the most sometimes. We just don't show it. They stood there in the dusk, the windmill turning. Somewhere a coyote called. Finally Nora spoke. Thank you for the fence. For everything. You don't owe me nothing. I know, but I'm saying it anyway. She walked back to the bunkhouse, left him standing there staring at the door he couldn't open and the grave he couldn't visit. She found the ribbon while mending his saddlebag, and it changed everything. The leather had split along the stitching, happened when Henry dropped the bag climbing off Corey in the dark. He'd asked Nora if she could fix it. She'd said yes. Didn't mention she'd learned needlework in a Philadelphia parlor before her father's cards went cold. She worked in the shade of the barn, thread and all, pulling the leather tight. Opened the bag to check the fit. That's when she saw it. Blue silk, faded, almost white, folded small, careful, like something precious. She pulled it out. A ribbon, child-sized, fraying at the edges but still soft. Henry came around the corner carrying a saddle blanket. Stopped when he saw what she was holding. Long silence. Just the windmill creaking. That yours? She asked. His face went still. My daughter's. Nora held it like it might break. Where is she? Longer silence. A hawk circled overhead, calling. Gone. 5 years now. What? She started to hand it back, but something in his face stopped her. I'm sorry. Fever took her while I was pushing cattle to Wyoming. His voice stayed level, but barely. Got home 3 days after they buried her. Nora's hands lowered. You weren't there. No. That's why... She stopped. Why what? Why you can't go in that house. Why you pulled me off the fence. She looked at the ribbon. You're trying to save what you couldn't save before. Henry took his hat off, turned it in his hands. Maybe. I ain't her. I know that. He met her eyes. But maybe a man gets one more chance to do right. Don't mean he deserves it. Nora held the ribbon out. He took it, fingers careful. She like ribbons? Nora asked. Loved 'em. Had a whole drawer full. This was her favorite. Blue like the sky, she said. How old? 7. Almost 8. Nora did the math. Same age she'd been when her mother died, before her father started losing everything. What was her name? Corinne. First time he'd said it out loud. In years. It hurt and helped at the same time. Pretty name. She was a pretty girl. He folded the ribbon back up, put it in his pocket instead of the bag. Her mama left after. Couldn't stand looking at me. Don't blame her. They sat in the dust, backs against the barn wall. The heat was settling into that late afternoon wait where even breathing took effort. Can I ask you something? Nora said. Go ahead. That why you pulled me off that fence? To make up for not being there for her? Henry watched a dust devil spin across the corral. Partly, but also 'cause leaving you there would have meant I learned nothing. That I'd just keep choosing wrong. And maybe a woman deserves not to die tied to a fence. He looked at her, almost smiled. That too. She pulled her knees up. My turn. How'd you end up here? Her jaw tightened. My father, Clayton Callahan. Good family, good name, good money. Then he found cards and whiskey, and good. Don't mean much when you're bluffing with your daughter as collateral. Oh, he sold you? Gambled me. Lost. And the man he lost to... She stopped. Don't matter. That man sold me to Sharp to cover his own debts. Been here 3 years, supposed to be 5 more. Where'd you learn to ride like that? To sew? She looked away. Philadelphia. We had horses. A house on Rittenhouse Square. Piano lessons in French and all the things rich girls learn before their fathers piss it all away. As Henry was quiet a moment. You hide it well. The education. Had to. Sharp figures out I can read contracts, write letters, do books. He'll never let me go. Keep me as a secretary. Property's more valuable when it's useful. You ain't property. Law says different. Law's wrong. She looked at him. You really believe that? Yeah, I do. Something shifted between them. Not trust exactly, but maybe the beginning of it. The next morning, Henry brought her a bundle wrapped in brown paper. What's this? Dress. Clean one. Thought you might want it. Nora unwrapped it. Simple cotton, pale green, nearly new. Her hands shook. I can't. It's just sitting there. My wife left it when she cleared out. She ain't coming back for it. Henry. Nora. His voice was firm but gentle. Take it. Wear it. Be something other than what they made you. She held it to her chest. First feminine thing in 3 years that wasn't torn or bloodstained. Thank you. He nodded and left before she could see his face. That evening, Sharp called Henry to the main house again. 3rd time in 2 weeks. The parlor felt like a trap. I'm raising her debt, Sharp said without preamble. What? Another $200. She destroyed property when she ran. Horse came up lame, gate broken, medical supplies used. That's bullshit and you know it. Sharp's smile was thin. Is it? You got proof otherwise? Got a lawyer? Henry's hands curled into fists. Thought not. Sharp opened his ledger. Miss Callahan now owes $1,400. At current rates, that's 7 more years. You son of a... Careful, Dalton, and one more thing. Sharp leaned back. Stop getting ideas. She's not leavable merchandise. You try to buy her debt, I'll triple it. You try to help her run, I'll have both of you arrested. We clear? Henry stood, didn't trust himself to speak. I said, are we clear? Crystal. He left before he did something stupid. Outside, the sky was changing, clouds building south, rare in summer, storm maybe. He could smell it on the wind. Nora was sitting on the bunkhouse step, wearing the green dress. Saw his face. What happened? Nothing. Don't lie. You're bad at it. He sat next to her. Not close, but not far neither. He raised your debt. 7 more years now. She went pale. 7? I'll figure something out. There ain't nothing to figure. He owns the paper. He owns me. No. Henry's voice was hard. He's got a piece of paper, that's all. And paper burns. She looked at him, scared and hopeful both. What are you saying? I'm saying I've been waiting for this. The moment when doing right would cost everything. He stood, looked at the horizon. Storm's coming. It was. Lightning far off, silent. Maybe that's good, Nora said quietly. Maybe we need one. Henry didn't answer. But he thought about fire and paper and 7 years and 1 blue ribbon in his pocket. And he thought about Corinne and promises he couldn't keep and maybe, just maybe, one he could. She heard them arguing in the dark, and every word was a nail. Nora couldn't sleep. Too hot. The bunkhouse held heat like a brick oven, and the other cowboys were snoring like dying engines. She stepped outside for air. Moon 3/4 full, bright enough to see by. Voices carried from the main house. Sharp's porch. 2 men. She moved closer without thinking, stayed in the shadows by the water trough. Putting in another 100, Henry was saying. Sharp's laugh was ugly. You think I don't see what you're doing? Paying down her debt? Nora's heart stopped. That's my business, Henry said. You've put in $400 so far, Dalton. At this rate, you'll own her yourself in 6 months. That your plan? Buy yourself a woman? Lonely out here, I'd imagine. It ain't like that. Then what is it like? You playing savior? Want to feel like a hero before you die? Silence. Just crickets and the windmill turning. Or maybe... Sharp's voice turned knowing. Maybe you think if you save this one, you'll stop seeing your dead kid every time you close your eyes. Now shut your mouth. Truth hurts, don't it? You couldn't save Corinne. So now you're going to save this broken whore and call it redemption. The sound of a fist hitting wood. Henry's voice, low and dangerous. Call her that again. See what happens. Easy, Dalton. I'm just pointing out facts. You're paying her debt with your wages. That makes her yours, legally. Once it's settled, might as well admit what you want. I don't want to own nobody. Then you're a fool wasting his money. Nora backed away, couldn't breathe. 400. He'd paid 400 as toward her debt, without telling her, while pretending to be... What? Her friend? Her protector. She walked fast, back toward the bunkhouse, then past it, needed to move, needed air that wasn't full of lies. She found him in the barn an hour later. He was checking tack by lantern light, getting ready for tomorrow's ride. How much? He turned, saw her face. Nora, how much? Don't, how much? His jaw set. 400, so far. She felt like she'd been kicked. So you are buying me, just slower, more polite. Ooh, that ain't what I'm doing. No? Then explain it to me, Henry. 'Cause from where I'm standing, you've been paying down my debt like I'm a horse you fancy, and you didn't even tell me. I didn't want you to feel... Feel what? Grateful? Obligated? Owned? It ain't ownership. I'm trying to help. Help? Her laugh was bitter. You think money makes it different? I'm still a thing bought and sold. Just by you instead of him. No? When Henry stepped toward her, she stepped back. I don't want to own you. Then what do you want? Silence. The question hung between them like smoke. He stopped. Couldn't find the words. See, you can't even say it. Nora's voice shook. 'Cause the truth is you do want something. Everybody does. And I'm just your project. Your second chance. Your way to fix what broke when your daughter died. Henry's face went white. You gave me her dress, Nora continued. Her voice was getting louder, sharper. Her clothes. You keep that ribbon in your pocket like some kind of shrine. And every time you look at me, you ain't seeing me. You're seeing her. You're trying to save her through me. That ain't true. Ain't it? Then why'd you do it? Why pay Sharp? Why cut me down? Why any of this? Because it was right. For who? For me? Or for you? The words hit like bullets. Henry's hands shook. Both, maybe. I don't know anymore. Well, I do. Nora's eyes were wet, but her voice stayed hard. You can't save me, Henry. And saving me won't bring her back. Won't make you feel less guilty. Won't fix what you think you broke. I know that. Do you? Or am I just some broken thing you found that you think you can fix? Make yourself feel better? Be the hero you couldn't be for her? Henry looked like she'd shot him. Is that what you think? I don't know what to think. I thought, her voice cracked, I thought maybe you were different, that maybe somebody was helping me because I deserved it. Not because they wanted something. Not because I reminded them of... She stopped, wrapped her arms around herself. I ain't your daughter, Henry. And I can't fix whatever broke in you when she died. That's your ghost, not mine. Silence, heavy and thick. Henry picked up the ribbon from where it had fallen out of his pocket, looked at it. 5 years of carrying the dead. You're right, he said quietly. Maybe I was using you. To feel like I mattered again, like I could still save something. He looked up. But that don't change the fact that you deserve better than that fence. Better than Sharp. Better than all of it. I don't want your guilt money. It ain't guilt, it's just... He stopped. It's all I got to give. I don't want it. She turned toward the door. Any of it. The money, the dresses, the whatever this was. Nora. I'd rather owe Sharp than owe you. She left. He didn't follow. Henry stood in the barn for a long time. The lantern burned low. The ribbon sat in his palm, blue silk gone nearly white. She was right. About all of it. He'd been using her. To salve his guilt, to feel useful, to pretend he could save something. Anything. And now he'd lost her trust the same way he'd lost Corinne. By choosing wrong. By thinking his intentions mattered more than her autonomy. Outside, the wind picked up. Dust devils spinning across the corral. The windmill screamed louder than it had in weeks. He looked south. The clouds were building there, dark and tall, lightning inside them, silent this far out, storm coming. 2 days, maybe 3. He put the ribbon back in his pocket, blew out the lantern, walked to the bunkhouse, but didn't go in, sat on the step instead. Same place he'd sat 2 weeks ago when he first brought her here. Through the window crack, he could see her bunk. She was lying there, back to the room, shoulders shaking. He'd made her cry, the one thing he'd promised himself he wouldn't do. The windmill kept turning. The storm kept building, and Henry Dalton sat in the dark, holding a dead girl's ribbon, knowing he'd just broken the only living thing that had made him feel human in 5 years. Dawn came hard and red, heat already rising by the time the sun cleared the hills. Nora's bunk was empty. Rosa found the note tucked under the coffee pot. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him thank you. Tell him I had to go. Henry read it twice, then folded it careful and put it in his pocket next to the ribbon. You going after her? Rosa asked. He looked at the horizon, west, toward the mountains, 30 miles of desert and heat and nothing. No, Henry. She wanted to be free, so she's free. She'll die out there. Maybe. He picked up his hat. Or maybe she'll make it. Either way, it's her choice, not mine. He walked to the main house. Sharp was having breakfast on the porch. The girl ran. Sharp dropped his fork. What? She's gone. Headed west, maybe 3 hours ago. And you just let her? Yeah. Sharp stood. That's $400 in debt, Dalton. You're paying every goddamn cent. Fine. Fine. You don't have $400. And then take it out of my wages. Take the horse. Take whatever you want. Sharp's face went red. I want her back. Henry met his eyes. Steady. No. No? No. She's done. You don't get her back. The hell I don't. She's my... She ain't yours. Ain't mine. Ain't nobody's but her own. Henry turned. You want your money? I'll work it off. But she's gone. And I ain't bringing her back. Sharp's voice turned cold. Then you're fired. Off my land by sundown. Henry nodded. Fair enough. He walked away. 15 years on this ranch, 10 minutes to pack. She ran at dawn, and this time he let her go. The morning after felt like the day after a funeral. Everything too quiet. Everything wrong. Henry sat on the bunkhouse steps watching the sun climb. His bedroll was tied, his saddlebag packed. 15 years reduced to what fit on a horse. Rosa came out with coffee, set it beside him without a word. Boss? One of the younger cowboys, Tommy, stood in the doorway. You want us to ride after her? No. But Sharp's gonna... I know what he's gonna do. Tommy shifted his weight. So we just let her go? Henry picked up the coffee. She wanted to be free. Now she is. She ain't gonna make it out there, not on foot in this heat. Maybe not. Then why? Because it's her choice. Henry's voice was flat. Not mine, not yours, hers. Tommy backed off. The other cowboys watched from the windows, silent. Rosa sat down next to Henry. You're a fool. Yeah, but a good fool. Don't feel good. She was quiet a moment. You know what you lost last night? My job, my home, my... He stopped. Your chance to keep holding on to the dead. Rosa's voice was gentle but firm. That's what she was to you, Verdad. A way to keep Corinne alive. Keep the guilt alive. Keep yourself punished. Henry stared at the horizon. She was right about all of it. See, she was. And now you have to decide. You gonna let her be right about you forever? Or are you gonna prove she was wrong? About one thing? What thing? That you can't change. That you'll always choose wrong. Rosa stood. The storm's coming, Henry. 2 days. You got that long to figure out who you want to be when it hits. She went inside. Henry sat alone. The windmill turned. The sun climbed higher. Around noon, Sharp rode up with 2 hired men. Dalton. Henry stood. Mr. Sharp. You're still here. Packing takes time. Sharp dismounted. I'm giving you one more chance. Ride out, bring her back, and you keep your job. No. I ain't bringing her back. Sharp's jaw tightened. Then you're paying the full debt. 1,400. I'll take it in wages. 10 years at the rate you're worth. Henry shook his head. I'll pay what I put in. The 400, the rest is your problem. The law says, the law's wrong. Henry picked up his bedroll. I'm done arguing about what's legal and what's right. She's gone. I'm gone. Find yourself another foreman. He swung up onto Corey. The paint horse danced, eager to move. You'll regret this, Dalton. Henry looked down at Sharp. For the first time in 5 years, he felt something close to peace. I already got more regrets than I can carry. One more won't matter. He rode west. He found her 8 miles out. The horse was down in a rocky draw, foreleg broken. Nora was on foot, half a mile beyond it, limping. Her canteen lay empty in the dust 100 yards back. She saw him coming, didn't stop walking, didn't run, just kept putting one foot in front of the other like she could walk all the way to California on willpower, alone. Henry dismounted, walked his horse beside her, long silence. Just boots on stone, and Corey's breathing. You're gonna die out here, he said finally. Maybe. That what you want? I want to be free. You are. I ain't taking you back. She stopped walking, turned, stared at him. What? Sharp fired me. You're clear. Her face went white. You lost your job? For me? For me. So I could live with myself. She swayed. He caught her elbow. She didn't pull away this time. Too tired. Too hot. Too broken. Why? Her voice cracked. After what I said. Because you were right. He guided her to a patch of shade under an outcrop. Sit, before you fall. She did. He gave her his canteen. She drank slow, careful. You were right about all of it, Henry said. He sat a few feet away, hat off, wiping sweat. I was using you to feel useful, to feel like I could still save something. Like if I could keep you alive, maybe Corinne's death wouldn't have been for nothing. Nora watched him, silent. But that ain't fair to you. You ain't a project, ain't a second chance. You're just, he looked at her. You're just a woman who deserved better than what you got. And I made it worse by making it about me. The sun beat down, heat shimmering off the rocks. Why'd you really do it? Nora asked. All of it, the fence, the money, the everything. Henry was quiet a long time. When he spoke, his voice was rough. When Corinne died, I wasn't there. Sarah, my wife, she told me before I left for that drive. She said, if you go and something happens, don't come back. But I went anyway, thought I was doing right, providing, being a man. He turned his hat in his hands. She got sick 3 days after I left. Scarlet fever. Sarah sent a rider, but he didn't catch up to us till we'd already sold the herd in Cheyenne. Took me another week to get home. His voice broke. By the time I rode up, Corinne had been in the ground 4 days. Nora's eyes filled. Sarah was packing when I got there, wouldn't even look at me. Said I'd killed our daughter by choosing cattle over her. And she was right. I chose wrong. Chose money and pride over what mattered. A tear ran down his cheek. He didn't wipe it. She left that day, remarried in Prescott 6 months later. I didn't fight it. Figured I didn't deserve to. Henry, I couldn't even visit the grave. Couldn't go in the house where she died. Couldn't, he stopped, breathed hard. Couldn't do anything but keep working, keep moving, keep pretending I was still a man worth something. Nora moved closer, sat beside him. So when I saw you on that fence, Henry continued, I thought maybe this was it, my chance. If I could save someone this time, if I could choose right just once, you'd forgive yourself. Yeah, he looked at her. But that's not fair to you, putting that weight on you, making you carry my guilt. She was quiet a long time. The wind picked up, dust devils spinning in the distance. You know what's funny? She said finally. I was mad at you for using me, but the truth is... She stopped, started again. The truth is I was using you too. What? You made me feel human again. Made me feel like maybe I wasn't just property, just a thing. And I wanted that so bad I didn't care why you were doing it. I just wanted to keep feeling it. Henry looked at her. So maybe we both used each other, Nora said. Maybe that's just what broken people do. Try to fix each other, and maybe that's okay, as long as we're honest about it. Silence. The hawk circled overhead again. I can't fix what broken you, she said. Can't bring her back. Can't make you stop feeling guilty. I know. But maybe... She looked at him. Maybe we don't have to be fixed to be worth something. Maybe we just have to keep trying. Henry's throat was tight. You really believe that? I don't know, but I'd like to. They sat in the dust as the sun dropped lower. The shadows grew long enough to breathe in. Somewhere far off, thunder rumbled, the storm getting closer. Finally, Nora spoke. What do we do now? I don't know. I got $20 and a horse. You got the clothes on your back? He almost smiled. Not much of a future. Better than 7 more years with Sharp. Yeah, that's true. She stood, swayed a little. He steadied her. There's a town, he said. Desert Springs. About 30 miles back east. We could go there. Figure things out. Together? He looked at her. Really looked, not seeing Corinne, not seeing redemption. Just seeing Nora, scared and tired and tough as nails. Yeah, together, if you want. She nodded. I want. He helped her up onto Corey, climbed up behind her. The horse complained, but held. They rode east as the sun set. Behind them, the mountains went purple. Ahead, the storm clouds built higher, darker. And between them, no words, just the understanding that broken things could still move forward, could still choose, could still try. The windmill sound faded behind them. Something new was coming. They rode into Desert Springs with nothing but the clothes they wore and $20 between them. The boarding house was 2 stories, whitewashed, with a porch that sagged in the middle. Brennan took one look at them, dusty, exhausted, riding double, and quoted the price without smiling. 50 cents a night, each, paid in advance. Henry counted out coins. 2 rooms, a week. She took the money, gave him keys. Upstairs, into the hall, meals extra. They climbed the stairs in silence. Henry unlocked both doors, handed Nora 1 key. You need anything? I know where you are. She managed a tired smile. Thank you. She went in. Door closed, soft. Henry stood in the hallway a moment, then went into his own room. 4 walls, a bed, a washstand. Window overlooking Main Street. He dropped his bag, sat on the bed. 15 years gone, job gone, home gone, and for what? A woman who'd called him out for using her. Who'd been right, but she was alive, free. That had to count for something. News traveled fast in small towns. By evening, half of Desert Springs knew Henry Dalton had quit the Sharp outfit over a debt servant. The other half knew by morning. Reverend Paulson came knocking after supper. Son. Henry was sitting on the porch, watching the street go dark. Reverend, mind if I sit? Free country. Paulson settled into the other chair, old wood creaking. Heard you threw your life away for that girl. Heard right. Why? Henry watched a dog trot across the street. Because it was the right thing. Was it? Paulson's voice was gentle. Or did you trade one kind of bondage for another? She feels obligated now, owes you. That's just a different kind of chain. Henry hadn't thought of it that way. His chest tightened. I didn't mean... I know you didn't, but good intentions and good outcomes aren't always the same thing. Paulson stood. Just something to think on. Storm's coming, Henry. Make sure you know what you're really doing this for. He left. Henry sat there another hour. The street emptied. Lamps came on in windows. Somewhere a baby cried. He thought about Paulson's words, about chains and obligations and whether he'd just made things worse. Across the street, Nora sat in Mrs. Chen's general store. The older woman was taking inventory, marking items in a ledger. She'd given Nora coffee and a biscuit without asking for payment. That man, Mrs. Chen said, not looking up, he gave up everything for you. I know. And what you gonna do about it? Nora wrapped her hands around the cup. I don't know. I didn't ask him to. No, but he did it anyway. Mrs. Chen looked up. Question is, was it for you or for him? Both, maybe. No, and that bothers you. Wouldn't it bother you? Being saved for the wrong reasons. Mrs. Chen closed the ledger. My husband pulled me out of a burning building when I was 16. You know why he did it? Nora shook her head. Because his mother was trapped inside, and he couldn't reach her. She died. I lived. And for years, I wondered if he loved me or just kept me around because I was the one who survived when she didn't. What did you do? I asked him. Mrs. Chen smiled. He said, I saved you for her. I stayed for you. And I figured that was honest enough. Nora was quiet. Point is, Mrs. Chen continued, people are complicated. Motives are messy. Maybe he started out trying to save himself, but that don't mean he doesn't care about you too. I don't know if I can trust it. Then don't. Not yet. Mrs. Chen stood. But maybe give it time. See what he does next. That'll tell you more than anything he says. Evening deepened into night. Nora sat on the boarding house porch, alone. She could see Henry across the street at the livery, brushing down Corey, patient, methodical. The horse was all he had left. She'd been owned 3 years. Then for 2 weeks, she'd felt almost human. Then it fell apart. And now what? She was free and broke and alone in a town that looked at her like damaged goods. Maybe that's all she was. But then she thought about the fence, about the rope cutting into her wrists, about giving up, and she thought about Henry cutting her down. Not because he had to, not because it benefited him, but because leaving her there would have killed something in him. Maybe that was enough. Maybe broken people saving broken people was all anyone ever did. She watched him work. First time really seeing him, not as rescuer or owner or project, just a man who hurt, like her. The wind picked up, dust devils spinning down Main Street. The sky in the south was dark now. Not just clouds, real storm darkness. Lightning flickering inside, silent this far out. She thought about the ribbon, about Corinne, about how some people carry their dead forever. And she realized he didn't save her to own her. He saved her to prove to himself he could still save anything. That he wasn't completely worthless. That one right choice could matter, and maybe that was okay. Maybe using each other to remember how to be human wasn't the worst thing, not if they were honest about it. Thunder rumbled, low and distant. The storm was maybe a day out now. Something was coming. She could feel it in her bones. Henry looked up from his work, saw her watching, raised his hand. Not a wave. Just acknowledgement. She raised hers back. The wind pulled at her hair. The sky flickered. Tomorrow would bring what it brought. Tonight, they were both still here. Both still trying. That was something. Sharp rode in with 3 men and a writ from the territorial judge. The storm broke at dawn. First rain in 3 months hit the dust like bullets. Lightning cracked close, thunder shaking windows. The whole town woke to it. That smell of wet earth and ozone and change. Henry was saddling Corey at the livery when he heard the horses coming. 4 riders. Sharp in front, 3 hired guns behind. They pulled up in the street, rain streaming off their hats. Marshal Teague came out of his office, suspenders showing. Gideon, early for a social call? This ain't social. Sharp dismounted, pulled a paper from his coat. Got a writ, debt collection. That girl owes me $2,400. People were gathering now. Storm or no storm, this was better than breakfast. Henry stepped out of the livery. Nora appeared on the boarding house porch, wrapped in a shawl. Sharp saw them both, smiled. There they are. Dalton, Miss Callahan, we got business to settle. Marshal Teague looked at the paper. This is legal, Henry. Territorial judge signed it. I know. Sharp walked closer, rain pouring. The debt remains. She runs, you harbor her, you're liable. That's the law. I'll pay. Henry's voice was steady. You don't have $1,400. I got a horse and a promise. I'll work it off. 10 years if I have to. The crowd murmured. 10 years. That was a life sentence. Sharp shook his head. No, I want her back. Or the full amount. Today. Nora stepped off the porch into the rain. I'll go. Henry turned. No. It's my debt, not yours. The hell it is. She walked toward Sharp. Henry stepped between them. You want someone to work? Take me. 10 years, no wages, room and board. That's worth more than $2,400 in labor. I don't want you, Dalton. I want what's mine. Oh, she ain't a thing to own. The law says different. Sharp's voice rose. And you can't change the law just because you don't like it. Silence. Just rain hammering the street. Reverend Paulson stepped forward, rain plastering his thin hair to his skull. Mr. Sharp, the law also says a debt can be transferred. Everyone turned. The church will assume the debt, $2,400. We'll pay it over 5 years. Sharp laughed. The church is broke, Paulson. You can't even fix your own roof. We'll manage. It's the right thing to do. Chin stepped out of her store. I'll put in $50. Rosa pushed through the crowd. $40, I got it saved. Tommy, the young cowboy from Sharp's outfit. $15, ain't much, but 25, said the blacksmith. $30 from the saloon keeper. One by one. Small amounts? Working people with nothing to spare, giving anyway. Sharp looked around, saw what was happening. His face went red. This is ridiculous. The law's on your side, Marshal Teague said quietly. But so's the whole town on theirs. You really want to fight that? Sharp's hired men shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't what they'd signed up for. Take the church's deal, Gideon, Teague continued. Take the payments, or let it go. But you ain't dragging that girl back in chains. Not today. Silence. The rain was letting up. Just steady now. Soft. Sharp looked at Nora, at Henry, at the crowd of people who'd chosen mercy over law. He folded the writ, put it away. Fine. The church owes me $1,400. 5 years. First payment due in 30 days. He looked at Henry. But you're done in this county. I got friends. Word travels. I know. Sharp mounted up. His men followed. They rode out, splashing through puddles. The crowd dispersed slowly, quiet, like they'd just witnessed something they didn't have words for. Reverend Paulson touched Henry's shoulder. That was close. Yeah, thank you. Don't thank me. Thank whatever made folks remember they got souls. Then he walked away. Henry and Nora stood in the street. Rain stopped now, sun breaking through clouds in the east. You were really going to give him 10 years, she said. Yeah. Why? Because some things matter more than being smart. She looked at him, water dripping from her hair. You got nothing left. I got enough. Long pause. The street was empty now. Just them and the wet ground and the clearing sky. Where are you going to go? She asked. Don't know. Maybe Montana. Heard they need ranch hands up there? That's a long ride. Yeah. Another pause. Her eyes were bright. I could use the company, if you want. Henry looked at her. First real eye contact since the barn fight. You sure? No. Her voice was steady. But I'm tired of being alone. Me too. They stood there in the mud, in the clearing sky. Two people with nothing, no money, no home, no plan, but together, and it felt like enough. We should go, she said, before Sharp changes his mind. Yeah. They walked back to the boarding house to pack. Behind them, a rainbow was forming over the desert, bright and impossible. Something new was coming. The stagecoach to California left at dawn, and she almost didn't take it. A week later, Henry had work at the livery. Nora was helping Mrs. Chin at the store. They were saving money, 50 cents at a time. The morning they left, the sky was clear, no wind. Even the windmill stood silent. Henry met Nora on the street, bags packed. The stagecoach driver was loading luggage. He reached into his pocket, pulled out the blue ribbon. Thought maybe you'd want this. She looked at it, faded silk, fraying edges, 5 years of grief folded small. It's your daughter's. She'd want someone to have it, someone alive. Nora took it carefully, tied it in her hair. The wind caught it, still faded, still torn, but catching morning light. Henry almost smiled. Suits you. The driver called. Boarding. They stood apart, long pause, the whole town quiet, watching. You saved my life, Nora said. You saved mine first. She understood now, by surviving, by mattering, by reminding him life still counted. What are we doing? She gestured at their bags, their empty pockets. Two broke people heading west with nothing? Starting over, I reckon. Think it'll work? Henry looked at the horizon, California somewhere beyond it. Don't know. But I figure some scars don't heal, they just learn to live in the light. She nodded, no words needed. They climbed aboard, sat close but not touching. The coach pulled away, behind them, Desert Springs fading. The fence post empty now, the windmill still, Rosa waving from the cook shack. Ahead, sun rising over desert, two silhouettes in the window, blue ribbon catching light. The storm had passed, something new was coming.